Hello, Galaxy! Chris Perillo here for another live Star Wars Radar video. How many times have you seen The Last Jedi? As of right now, it has been around 24 hours. As of 7 minutes ago, since I started to watch The Last Jedi, and I guess to paraphrase a tweet that went out this afternoon from the Star Wars Twitter account, this changes everything. I'm going to do my best to continue to avoid spoilers until after the weekend, because it's my feeling that if you're a Star Wars fan, you probably saw it on opening night, unless you couldn't, at which point you probably saw it over opening weekend. So I'm going to give people 4 days or so before I start openly talking and diving deeper into some of the topics that I've outlined, things that I think are worth talking about, especially because so much of this has been controversial. I knew within minutes, and I think I noted this in my reaction video yesterday, within minutes of seeing The Last Jedi or watching it, I knew it was going to be controversial. I knew this one was going to be divisive, and it seems to be. So let me give you 3 ways. If you have not yet seen The Last Jedi, or maybe you have, 3 ways that I believe that you can better enjoy the movie. The first thing I would suggest you do is, as I recommended or had mentioned before, the movie launched or was released, go in with no expectations. Like, don't set the bar anywhere. Just don't even bring the bar. Don't even consider the bar. Unless, of course, you do go to the bar before seeing the movie. You could. It probably wouldn't work out as well as if you saw it, with a completely open mind, in a mind that wasn't I guess, twisted somewhat by alcohol. That's how some people, I think, are pushing through it. I don't think that's the way to do it. It's another way of enjoying the movie. But what I mean, to get back on topic, go in with no expectations. I think this is where I've seen a lot of disappointment from fans, from people who love Star Wars. They thought that it was going to turn out this way, and it didn't. And I have a big problem with people who spread rumors, for one, or just pin everything on the hopes of a rumor. That to me is just setting yourself up for failure. So get rid of expectations. The second thing you need to do, or what I believe you can and should do to better enjoy The Last Jedi, is unlearn what you have learned, or get ready to. There are some rather astounding concepts, and I wouldn't even say clarifications, just new directions that we can go in Star Wars, now that we've seen it in canon, like things that definitely are, seemingly controversial, but I don't think they are at all. I think they're just a better explanation, or at least a surfacing of something that we always kind of knew was there. But if you can, if it is at all possible, unlearn or prepare to unlearn what you've learned. And I think that, again, is where a lot of fans are getting hung up. That's what I see. They're clinging to something that isn't there, or having it try to lead up to, I guess, live up to their expectations. And, going in with the concept of what things are. And this movie upends a lot of preconceived notions or assumptions. And I like that. I have no problem, though, unlearning what I've learned. The third thing that I'd recommend for you to enjoy the movie is think about the first time you saw Star Wars and how it felt to you. Like, watching Star Wars, how did it feel? Not necessarily the why, just how did you feel? And then, maybe you can get into the why, but how did you feel when you saw Star Wars? When you saw it, did you have fun? See, that's the thing. People may ask me, what's your review? I'm like, well, I had fun. It was, I wouldn't say a roller coaster ride, but it was fun. It was, like I've mentioned before, filled with nuance. So many things that we can dive into. So many more things than The Force Awakens. Some people like that. Some people don't. Some people, I guess, don't want to think. That, and I don't mean to slag them, but if you're only paying attention to what's on the surface of Star Wars, you're missing out on 99% of the value of Star Wars. But even on the surface, I had fun. Everything else, 99% of Star Wars to me is not what I see. It's not what I experience in a movie. It's the fandom, it's reflection, it's considerations, not even theories, just, having these wild discussions about anything Star Wars. But to me, it comes down to that sense that I had, and there was, like, when I first saw Star Wars, in when was it? I think it was during the first 2 weeks, I guess. I'm barely old enough to have remembered that. I just have faint memories of maybe a few scenes. But let me see if I can pull up this photo that I ended up tweeting out earlier, or retweeting, if you do follow me on, specifically on Twitter, which I know a lot of people do. Let me go ahead and rotate this. Theoretically, is it going to rotate? Come on, phone. There we go. It says, here is a spoiler-free review from someone who is 52 years old. Now, this is not me. This is someone else made the graphic. I said, well, I'm 44, but this still stands. He says, The Last Jedi made me feel like I was a 12-year-old kid again. Enough said. And that, I think, is very fair. It's apropos. It was fun. In fact, I would be remiss if I didn't say that I don't know if I ever had as much fun in a Star Wars movie. Not that I go into a Star Wars movie to have fun. I go in to enjoy it, right? Seeing characters that I might love or appreciate, or just enjoy the story or the galaxy, and seeing new aspects and new parts of it. Not getting all the questions answered. That's not what I look for. And that's maybe another little bonus thing. Don't look to get all your questions answered, because you won't. In fact, I think I've argued that it's probably going to raise more questions than it answered. And that is definitely true. Yeah, but I had fun. So go into it thinking about what it was like to be a kid to see Star Wars. Unless you were never a kid and you saw Star Wars, when you saw Star Wars. But what was it like? You can't relive your childhood, but evoking those kinds of feelings, I think it was a huge, I guess it was a benefit of seeing The Last Jedi as an adult, having had the original trilogy experience as a kid. Things are different at different points in your life. If you saw Star Wars today, you would react differently than you did when you saw it as a kid. I feel that, looking at it from that aspect and considering what I felt like seeing Star Wars as a kid, it brought me back too. I felt the same way a few different times over, just this, not a sentimental kind of feeling or a nostalgic feeling, just like, wow, it feels, I'm watching Star Wars, and I just enjoyed that. I always kind of enjoy that, just lose myself in the moment. So those are 3 ways that you can better enjoy The Last Jedi. Of course, these are just, my opinions, my perspectives in terms of, what I would suggest other people to do. Let me see here. I'm going to check the chat, since I am streaming this live, and I really appreciate you tuning in and turning on notifications for these particular live broadcasts. Someone notes, stellar movie, but I don't think mass audiences are ready for it. This should have been the last movie of this trilogy and set up for Johnson's trilogy. I don't know if I agree with that. I feel that there's a lot of ways we can many ways we can go from here, and it's set the stage better for episode 9 than I think it would have otherwise. And again, I don't want to issue any spoilers, not yet, but I think it set the stage for a better 9 than we could have otherwise had. I had fun at points in the movie. I seem to be the only one laughing. But, it's impossible to tap into every, person in the theater if I'm not, like, sitting next to them necessarily. But, I said it last night. I'm not sure how well this is as a standalone movie. If you don't have a greater context of what Star Wars is, I'm not sure it works. Then again, I'm not even sure if it would work as well for The Force Awakens either. I mean, this movie, as I've mentioned since the release of The Force Awakens can't be fully appreciated or judged until Episode 9 is out. Judge it as a trilogy. That was my feeling with The Force Awakens. It's absolutely my feeling with The Last Jedi, and will likely be, all the way through till the final episode of this particular trilogy. So I don't know how you felt about the movie. I'm a fan. Does it rank up there? I'm not sure where I'd put in terms of rankings. I have a difficult time doing that anyway. But I will be seeing it again. Not today. Tomorrow. I'm taking a day break. Not that I needed to. It's just the schedule didn't work out that way. So thank you for tuning in. Thank you for following. Thank you for turning on notifications. Thank you for fanning with me over Star Wars. Happy to talk about other topics in relation to Star Wars in the future. If you have any to recommend, feel free to leave a comment. I love you. I appreciate you. But at this point, I'm going to leave you to your own devices. May the Force be with you. And I totally forgot to show you the Star Wars thing of the day. Sorry. Boy, you thought you were going to get away with that, didn't you? I got this. It finally arrived, brand new, the Chirrut Baze 2-pack. Yes, we've seen these figures before, in general, but these are Force Link enabled, so you could use your Force Link unit to, effectively, hold on to the figure, and then it'll make sounds. So you also get other wild accessories with this dynamic duo of sorts right there. So it's kind of neat that they added, I don't know if there's too much else different. I haven't done any comparisons with paint application or sculpts with the figures necessarily, but this is something that I just got. So this is the object of the day. Okay, now I'm going to go ahead and now I'm really, truthfully going to let you go. We'll see you tomorrow, right? Okay, now I should end it the right way again. May the Force be with you, for real. This time, it's always for real. I know the Force isn't real, but it is. It's real. Okay.